Hello, sewing people of the internet. This video is going to be a follow-up to a recent video I did where I found this Singer 503A Rocketeer on the side of the road, and I gave it a new home here in my shop. Before I get into the main part of the video, which is replacing the tension spring in the tensioner, and I'll put chapter markers if you want to skip ahead. I just wanted to mention, I said in the video about this machine that when I receive a machine for free, I like to make something with the machine and give it to the person that I got the machine from. So I made this pouch, a little zipper, just box-in zipper pouch, nothing special. It's made out of the storage bag for a survival suit. I have a friend who had a big boat that he sold, and he had all these expired survival suits. So I just took the bag that one of them was in and made this little pouch out of it. And I said I was going to follow up on this with you, so that's why I'm telling you this. I went out to the house where the machine was, and nobody was home. Wah, wah. So, and actually there was a for sale sign on the house now, and so I think it's just, unfortunately, that didn't get to happen. I'm going to give this to my friend that gave me the survival suit. I was going to make one for him anyway, so he'll just have this one. But I wanted to say that in sewing this project with this machine, I found that I had some difficulties getting the tension quite as high as I wanted to. I've found this with some older machines that I have, a couple of my Singer 201s, where it seems like the springiness of the Beehive spring in the tensioner has been reduced from time and just can't get the tension that it maybe should. So I bought a new one, and I'm going to show you how to change it out, and we'll see if that improves the situation. So this is neither a harsh criticism or necessarily a recommendation. I don't have any affiliation, but I bought this from sewingpartsonline.com. I've bought a few parts from them and gotten good service and stuff. The one criticism I have is it came in this box, and it's like literally this. Like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of shipping materials for such a small part. Maybe that works best for them, I don't know. But anyway, here's the part. I want to again point out that I am not trained as a sewing machine mechanic, and whatever I do here might be wrong. To my knowledge, there's not an equivalent of a Haynes manual or a Chilton manual for sewing machines, and you know, most of the manuals for machines of this vintage especially will say, see your authorized Singer dealer for maintenance or whatever. So if you know that I'm doing something wrong and there's a reason to do it a different way, please post it in the comment section for the benefit of others. But this is what has worked for me. All right, so I need to remove the tensioner assembly enough to get to the spring. On this particular machine, there's a little set screw, or what some of our fellow English speakers will call a grub screw. I'm just going to back that out. And that removes the knob. Then there's this little washer. Then there's this washer that has a point on the top and a bar that goes into the slotted stud. And then from there, we can access the spring. Feeling them, and I don't feel one of them is stronger than the other. If anything, it seems like the old one has a little more height to it. So we'll see if this makes the difference that I hope it makes. But so I'm just going to put it back in. Oops. And the bar along the front of the spring just has to go into the slot on this stud. I'm sorry that I can't show it to you with a lot of detail, but if you are doing this, you'll see it. It's quite obvious. Then I'll put that washer back on with this point pointing up. So you can see the tension was a little bit loose on these outer lines, and then pretty good on the middle stitch line there when I tighten it up. It's not quite all the way to the highest setting. When I was doing this before, even at the highest setting, like these somewhat looser stitches were about as good as I could, yeah, kind of like that. It was about as good as I could get. So it's definitely improved with the new spring. This is a pretty challenging vinyl, so maybe more challenging to the machine, but I think it'll work quite well now. So I'm interrupting this video, as I often do, because I realized I forgot something. Sometimes I assume that you've seen every video that I've ever made and know what I'm talking about without me explaining it again. When I'm talking about the tension on this machine, I'm talking about the balance of the tension between the top thread and the bottom thread. When you're sewing with a lock stitch sewing machine, the thread in the bobbin is a separate thread from the top thread, and those two threads interlock with each other, and that knot between them is not really a knot, but where they intersect should be in the middle of the fabric. So you shouldn't see the top thread sticking out of the bottom or the bottom thread sticking out of the top. And the way you balance that usually is just with the top tension adjustment. You kind of set the bobbin tension. More or less you can leave that alone, but there's an adjustment screw here that you can tighten or loosen. When I was having problems with the top tension not being high enough, so not pulling the bottom thread or the bobbin thread into the fabric enough, the tension on the bobbin case was actually more loose than I wanted it to be to begin with. So even there was no more adjustment to be had in the bottom, and that's why I changed the spring. So now I've got the tension set pretty much where I want it on the bobbin. It actually could be a little bit tighter. And I can make my adjustments in the top tensioner, and by changing the spring, I have sufficient tension to get a good stitch in the materials that I'll be sewing in this machine. So, sorry I didn't explain that more clearly at a more appropriate time. Back to the video. Just for something a little more realistic for the machine's capabilities, this is 3 layers of 400 denier pack cloth. Let's see how that does. Yeah, that's quite good. Alright, so that's a quick thing you can try if you're having issues with tension on a vintage domestic sewing machine like this. This may not fix every problem, but the spring itself was $2.99 US dollars, and I think with shipping it was like $9 because shipping. So, but anyway, for under $10 you can hopefully, get the tension working better on your machine. Probably not a bad idea to try that. If you have other suggestions as to things you should check on a vintage machine like this, post them in the comments section. If you have questions, you can post those down there too. And if you like this video, clicking like is always a big help. There's links below you can buy stuff from to help support the channel. And if you're not already a subscriber, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Thanks for watching.